So, what is the association method? Where do I get my information? The association method is a teaching method to teach reading, writing, and proper articulation for those who have a language disorder, a language deficit as it's titled here. Children with all varying degrees of language issues, as well as adults with language issues. The curriculum I utilize comes from the University of Mississippi. The University of Mississippi on campus has a school called the DeBard School. The DeBard School was started by this woman who used the association method in order to teach language deficient children. She did not create the association method, but she did create the school. And the school has been around 50 plus years. It is still going on today. You can look up more information on the DeBard School if you're curious about that. This information, as I said, comes from the University of Mississippi. It is a course that speech pathologists can take to learn this teaching method. This curriculum has everything you would need to run the program. And it has everything from the research, the information about what kinds of language disorders they have utilized this program with, and they provided the samples of the program. Let's see here. The program is broken up into 3 levels, but they provide the actual samples of what a book would look like, and I'm going to go more into that in a moment of what that book would look like. They provide the phonemes that they work through, the Northampton symbols that they utilize, as well as vocabulary lists, and there's just a ton of great information in here. If you're interested in learning more or getting an edition, you can go on Amazon and get an older curriculum, as I did, or you can go actually to the University of Mississippi, their bookstore, and purchase the updated version as well. So that's a little bit about the what. The how. Here I am just a person who has 2 special needs kids who would benefit from this program. I took it apart, obviously, and I've studied it, and now I am doing it with my children as well as a few other students who are struggling in similar areas. I have done a lot of this program. I have made a few tweaks myself. I haven't, followed it to the exact degree in which it specifies, but especially the foundation of the program has been an essential part of my children's education as well as the children that I'm tutoring. What you need, and this is the great thing about this program, what you need is this stuff here. You need a binder, paper, whiteboard eraser, and clear sheets. That's all you need. And another fantastic thing about this program is you can work at the rate and the pace of your student. So let me just show you what my daughter's binder looks like. This is my daughter's book. This would be book 1 of the association method according to the DeBard program. Ignore that. That's something different. The pages are cursive writing of individual phonemes. So this is and it's individual phonemes on each page. This is p, 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 p. This up here is not typical of the association method. This is just something, again, one of the tweaks I did myself. Da, da, da. And so forth. Here's just some examples of some of the phonemes. Again, you notice it's in cursive. The association method is a huge advocate of cursive, and there's a ton of theory behind it that I completely agree with. But that's, again, a side talk that we could talk about later. So, as you can see, Anna's got a ton of pages here. She didn't start out with all these pages. She started out one page at a time, and I just added more pages as I saw fit. So how it would look on your first day would be something like this. Depending on your student, depending on what they can do, everyone's going to be different. I like to start out with on my first day. So on a piece of paper, in cursive, I write And I say to the student, you say they say you say Again, that repetition. If this is an easy phoneme for them to produce, then we're going to add another page and go to the next one. Da. You say da. Da. You say da. Now the key is to recognize not only can they produce the sound, but can they see it and be able to produce it. And we do activities after we read through our book that help gauge where they're at with that. But anyway, we've created a couple of pages. We stick them in the clear sheets. They go in the binder. And we're going to read through our pages. I'm going to use my daughter's book just as an example to kind of show you. So again, they open up their book, pointing, That's all good. So turn the page. They do p, 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 p. Good. Turn the page. Da, 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 da. Good. And we go until we've completed, reading however much of the book we've created thus far. It may just be those 3 pages on the first day. I want these individual phonemes to be absolutely ingrained in my student. So I don't do more than a max of perhaps 4 phonemes a day when we add pages. It really depends on the student and if they can not only produce the sound, but can they recognize it in print form and produce it. So after they've read through their book, in completion, I'm paying attention to what sounds they know. So let's go back to this as the example. So we've got 2 sounds here. Let's add a 3rd sound real quick. Our 3 pages of our binder. We'll add p as our other one real quick. So again, p, 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 p. So now they have read through their 3 pages in their binder. Now I'm going to do an activity. The first one, putting that p, duh, all over the board here. Duh. And every time I'm writing it, I'm saying it, and I'll ask them to say it. If they're struggling a whole lot, I won't ask them to produce it every time. We may need to practice in front of the mirror. But again, they're hearing it over and over again. P, You say duh. You say p. Okay. First activity is you say it, they listen for it, they find it. So I as the teacher say p, they as the student look for it. That's right. Erase. You can have them say it again. P, Again, all that repetition is beneficial for the brain. Finding it. Duh. No. Yes. Finding it. P. Duh. And again, you get the point of it. Okay. The second activity, again, writing out our phonemes, whatever ones we want to work on that day. It will get obviously more elaborate or filled with more of a variety of phonemes as we add more phonemes to our binder. But again, writing them out. And this activity is now them finding it and them saying it. Again. Duh. 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 Okay. And that's it. That's the day's work. Now, depending on the amount of phonemes that they have in this first book, depending on how elaborate you want to make it, this can be a very short activity. I have found that sometimes less is more. Doing 5 to 10 minutes a day of this kind of work, or every couple of days, has benefited my students tremendously. The benefit of this program is its simplicity. It's the ability for a child or adult to be able to see how far they're advancing in the program, to see what they know, to see and get affirmation with more pages added as they work through the program. As well, when you have things like, for example, there was a time where for whatever reason my daughter could not remember, even though this had been ingrained and she knew it for a really long time. We went through a couple of weeks where she just couldn't remember it. And the benefit of this program is it's here, and she can go back to it, and we can review it, and we can be okay with her not remembering. We can be okay with working on it again. It's not overwhelming as a teacher or as a student when the brain forgets. As well, I just love the simplicity of the program, of the whiteboard activities. You know, the key is them listening without having to produce the sound, and then being able to produce the sound, read it, essentially, is what they're doing on the whiteboard. Now, within this teaching method, it can be far more elaborate. There's more details to this. I just wanted to give you the base, just to show you the simplicity of it, and to hopefully encourage you that if it's something that it interests you, you could do it. I hope this helps. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I would love to help any way I can, and that's it. Thanks.